Hey everybody, it's Alyssa Marie here, and today I am bringing you a new type of video. I was thinking of doing a series on gods, goddesses, mythical beings, crystals, all these different series. So today I'm going to be doing my first video in my God series. Now these videos are gonna be short. I'm gonna try to make them less than 10 minutes. This one might be a little longer because I'm telling you about it, but I'm gonna try to make them less than 10 minutes. They're gonna be short informational videos on that particular thing that I'm talking about. And obviously a forewarning, I don't know everything about everything. So, you know, I might have some information incorrect or wrong. So go ahead, if I have a fact wrong, tell me. Or, you know, I might not cover everything because it's kind of impossible to do so, but I'm going to try my best to give you a little bit of insight on a particular subject. So today I am going to be doing, actually I'm going to be doing two videos today, but for this video I'm going to be doing an informational video on the god Ra. Now, I chose Ra today actually for a variety of reasons. Okay, first of all, Samhain is among us. It's coming up soon. And if you're anybody who celebrates Samhain or who recognizes Samhain, and if you don't know what Samhain is Halloween, basically. The thinning of the veil is upon us. And when the veil is at its thinnest, I think it's a great time to try to connect with deities if you choose to do so, or those who have passed on, or other types of beings like dragons, if you're into that, fairies, you know, this is the time to do it. So I thought it'd be a good time to start doing this series. Now, everybody, I've seen other people, you know, who do a series on like gods or something, they choose gods that have to do with this time of year, dark gods or gods of the night and goddesses of the night and things like that. But I thought I would just be a little different, and I'm going to do kind of an opposite, which is Ra, the sun god. Okay, so also, I forgot to mention, I have been having some experiences with Ra recently, and I just for some reason have always been really interested in the Egyptian pantheon, and in particular Ra. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now I have a list of notes because I can't remember everything, but yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So first of all, Ra, that is spelled R-A, but it can be pronounced Ra. It can be also pronounced Re. The reason for that is because, as we all know, in ancient Egypt, there were hieroglyphics, there wasn't our alphabet system, so these are just a couple of the possible ways it could be pronounced. So either is correct, because I see a lot of it going around the community like, oh, that's not how you pronounce this, and that's not how you pronounce that. With Egyptian names, it's especially hard, so either way, he is like I said, the sun god, and he is one of the gods of the Egyptian pantheon that is kind of, well, he is the creator god. He represents kind of fatherly qualities. There's obviously a great amount of masculinity when it comes to these gods and goddesses, and especially to Ra. He represents growth, sunlight, warmth, and when he is depicted, he's usually depicted in a human form, a human male, with a sun disk atop his head. However, he is also depicted, or when he is depicted like that, everything's human except for the head, and in those instances, he's either usually a jackal, a beetle, a falcon, a ram even, things like that, or he is completely depicted as those animals. So the general mythological story of Ra, okay? Oh, and actually, before I go on, I have a card here from the Gods and Titans Oracle, and this is an image, a drawing of what Ra is depicted as, and this is him with the falcon head, obviously. Okay, so I was gonna just quick do a little of the mythology behind Ra. Now obviously when it comes to mythology, there are many different stories about a particular thing, and you know, sorry about the wind guys, it's really windy today. So one of the main stories about Ra is that he basically is the sun. He basically travels across the sky during the day, or, you know, what they would have thought, the ancient Egyptians, that the sun does. And at night, Nut, who is the goddess of the sky, and she's associated with the stars in the sky and all that kind of stuff, she swallows him, she eats him up, and in his place, he leaves the moon. So then he goes and he descends to the underworld. And when he's in the underworld, he stays there. He is then reborn at dawn. He creates himself, and he does it again over and over and over each day. Now, when it comes to worshiping Ra, in the ancient times anyway, there were a lot of solar temples. So if you do ever do any research into that, you'll hear a lot about solar temples. And usually they didn't have any actual depictions of Ra, because they made these solar temples so that they were open. So it'd be like a building that is, well, a temple that's open, and the windows, like, you know, there wasn't any covering. The sun was able to just shine in through the holes in the wall and the doors and everything. And that was basically Ra's presence. The sunlight was Ra. So he was so inspirational or influential that a lot of the pharaohs took on Ra's name and believed that they were descended from Ra. Later, though, he was fused, his name was fused with Amun to create Amun-Ra. And Amun-Ra, actually, more than Ra, was more worshipped than Ra. Or not necessarily, like, the worship of him was more widespread. More people started to worship him. So tombs depicted him, you know, there was drawings of him, there were those temples, there was a lot of stuff about this god, and he was looked at, like I mentioned, as fatherly. So he was very, you know, protective in a way. He was a comforting god, but yet he was powerful. Yeah, so I wrote down some correspondences, and I thought because it's Samhain, or I should say because Samhain is happening or going to happen, I thought if you guys would totally be interested in working with Ra, that I could give you some of the correspondences that I found online. Of course, you know, if you feel like a different thing represents Ra, you know, do a different thing. When I see these correspondences, I mean, they're kind of a guideline, but if you like don't have these things, or you just feel like that doesn't represent Ra, then by all means, change it up. That's what the craft is about. If you're somebody who does practice the craft. So these are the correspondences. So sacred animals. So if you're working with Ra, you might want to draw or print out or paint or do something creative with the depiction of specific animals. And these animals are the ram, the snake, the lion, the beetle. These are really, really sacred animals to Ra. Then we have the stone. Okay, so one of the crystals would be lapis lazuli. I always think I pronounced that wrong. I don't know why, but yeah, lapis lazuli. And if you guys don't know, that is the pretty blue crystal, and it has pieces of pyrite in it. It's beautiful. It's one of my boyfriend's favorite crystals. And then as for the planets, we have Saturn, and then the star. The sun, of course, isn't a planet, it's a star. But if you want to really connect with Ra, I think the best thing to do is to go outside into nature, and when the sun is shining, you know, stand there and absorb the energy. Now you might be thinking, well, if you live in the northern hemisphere anyway, you might be thinking, well, the sun isn't really out that much because it's cold, it's dark, it's fall. Well, in those instances, I think it's still, I mean, it's not like the sun isn't there. The sun is always there, and I think it's still a great idea if you want to go outside to do it. If you don't, if it's freezing, you can also do it in the comfort of your home. And you can just, you know, sit there and have the window open, have the sunlight come in on you. And those are great ways to do actually an invocation that I'm going to show you guys in a second. Also, the signs, Aries and Leo. So the elements being earth, air, and water. I think earth best represents Ra, in my opinion, because I feel like the dirt and, you know, it really absorbs the solar energy, which is a fact. And I feel like that is, in essence, Ra's being. And then, of course, offerings. A lot of the offerings people do is they do incense, and I didn't find really any specific incense scents and blends that you could really use. So I guess whatever you feel would be appropriate. Also fruit. I found figs a lot. Yeah, I found figs a lot. And then when it came to making oils, I thought that would be a great idea. I found to put saffron in it, figs, things of that nature. And also that he is associated with a Sunday, and that is not surprising because Sunday. But once again, here is the image of him according to Jimmy Manton. Jimmy Manton drew this deck. And in this, I gotta say, guys, gotta advocate for this deck again. This deck is gorgeous. Love it. I am just really into this deck. But it has a great little guidebook that I absolutely love. This is the guidebook, and I have gone over it in my channel, or on my channel, so if you guys look through my videos, I did a quick flip through. But in the book, it has, for each god, it has an invocation, some symbols, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that right now. Find him. Maybe I can find him. Every time I try to find something, okay. So, Ra. And see, there's a little information on him, and then obviously there is an invocation here that I talked about. So I am gonna go ahead and read this to you quick. Or I'll read this little part, and then what I'll do is I'll just put this up to the screen, pause it, and then, or you guys can pause it, and if you want to go ahead and write it down, feel free to do so. So it says, use this invocation when you feel you need to recharge your own power. It is best performed during the day, at sunset, or on a Sunday. Open your arms, stand up straight, and center yourself. Imagine the disc that is the sun. If you're outside, feel the sunlight on your skin, recharging every cell. Drink in this power. Now say, and then here is the invocation. And I will go ahead and put it there so you guys can pause and look at it. And then it says, enjoy the feeling of power as it rises to you. When you feel powerful, bow 3 times and express gratitude to Ra. And then also it talks about, you know, the blessing, or, well, the shadow side, and then the kind of positive side, you could say. And yeah. So, great deck if you want to get this little book. It's actually really helpful, and like I said, there's tons, well, not tons, but a lot of gods in here. And then also it actually gives lists of gods too and what they represent. So okay, that's all I have for you guys on Ra. I will probably be making another video today on my crystal series, so go ahead and go check that out. It's going to be on amethyst. That is our first crystal we will be talking about. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure to subscribe down below, and also hit that notification bell, because when you do so, you're able to not miss a single one of my videos. Oh, one more thing. In my Etsy, I'm going to try to get that up by the end of the week, so you will be able to purchase low-cost readings from me. And also I'm planning on doing some other crafty things that I want to put on there, like oils, things like that. So make sure to stay tuned to that. Mystical Haven is the title of my shop. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye!